Right, I'm going to show you how to create your graph and calculate your average temperatures using Excel. So here is a table of results we've got from our heating and cooling practical. I'm just going to highlight the whole thing. I'm going to copy it. You can use Command C if you'd like. I'm going to go over to this Excel spreadsheet and I'm going to paste it. Again, you can use Command V. There's my table. I'm just going to make the font a little larger so that you guys can see it clearly. Don't need to do that. Remember, if you want to make the columns bigger, you click and drag up the top here, just so it's nice and easy to read and see. Reminder to make sure that you don't put the units within the table, otherwise it won't work when you're calculating. So to calculate your average over here, you can click equals, type the word average, a bracket, and then click your 3 temperatures that you would like to calculate the average for. And then close the bracket so you can see what I've written up here. If you don't want to click, you can just type those numbers in, following the B and the 3 over this side. And then I click enter. There's my average. Comes up with 1,000,000 decimal places. I can click this button over here, which will lower the decimal place so that there's 0 decimal places. To then calculate all the way through, I click on this little green arrow here, so you see how my cursor changes when I'm over that green square. Click and I drag all the way down, and there's my average calculations. It does make the colors grey. If you don't want them to be grey, highlight the ones you don't want. You can go into so this box here and change it to no fill, and it'll change it from that color. Same with these ones. I want them to be blue again, just so that it looks nice. Whoops, that wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to click on the box one, make it blue there. It's a different color blue. No one noticed. It'll be fine. So now I've got my table of results, which I can then copy back into this over here. So in my Word document, I put this slightly to the side so I can see the numbers. Click on my Word document, I can go, my average temperature was 24, 31, 46, 57, 79, 89, 92, 94, 97, 65, 53, and 28. A very important step that a lot of people forget is to then go back and fill in this average over here with no maths. Now, when I'm graphing my results, I don't want to have all of these numbers. I just want this column, my time in minutes. And then if you hold the Command button, you can also highlight this column. So that's highlighting both columns at the same time. As long as you highlight one, hold the Command, and then highlight the other. And then you can go Insert, and you go over to this section with the charts. Click on the one with the 3 dots. And then you want the one with the line. So it's called a scatter plot with smooth lines and markers. So I'm going to click on that. Hope my graph appears. Here it is. Looks a bit boring at the moment. Things I want to change: heating and cooling water results. Maybe that's what I'll call it. You can call it whatever you like. You might have temperature versus time, time versus temperature. It's up to you. I also need to make sure that I include my axes labels. So I go over to this chart when I click on my chart. So if I click onto my chart, it comes up with this heading up here, chart design. Then I go add chart element, axes titles, primary horizontal. And down the bottom here, this is this unit. This is this column here, if you see if it goes from 0 to 12. So I click in here, I delete what's there, and I type time in minutes. Oops. That looks good there. Click back on my chart, add the other axis title, the vertical one there. So that's where it is there. I'll just pause for a bit so you can see it. And this one here is my average temperature. So I'm actually going to call it average temperature in degrees Celsius. Remember, if you want that exciting degrees symbol instead of writing degrees, you can push the option, hold option, and push K. Little keyboard shortcuts for fun. there is my lovely graph. I can then click on that and copy it. Don't take a screenshot, I can copy it. I can go over to my report again, create a new heading. So there's my new heading, and then I can paste my graph. Hopefully it works. There it is. And there's my perfect heating and cooling report. Ready for analysis when I do my second one, probably next week or next lesson. So it's nice to resize it so that it makes sure it fits on the same page, but we can do formatting and everything a little bit later. There's my graph. Over here, if you really want, you can change the color, make it green or orange. You can change, you can add data labels if you'd like, to the left or to the right, so it comes up with the actual numbers. You can arrange things. You can play with a few things and see what happens, see what it looks like. You can make the font bigger by clicking on it and going over to the font and changing that, depending on what you want to have in there. So if I click the whole thing, if I click Command A, or if I click on these axes titles, I can make them bigger, make these bigger. A little bit of playing around to make it look the way that you want it to look, and so it's still readable and shows you the exact trend of the heat rising and the heat decreasing. Hope this helps.